Okay, everybody, it's time for another fantastic episode of Makeup Gourmet Live. And today's episode, we're featuring smoky eyes. And this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So, if you're watching it live or recorded, thanks for tuning in. And let's get started with smoky eyes. All right. Thank you again for tuning in. I, I, I super duper appreciate it. I super duper appreciate you being here with me. First thing I want to talk about today, which is the only thing, which is what in the heck is a smoky eye? Because lots of clients come to me and go, I want a smoky eye. I want to make sure I have that beautiful smoky eye. And so I sort of explain to them what that is. They go, oh, that's not what I mean. So today, I'm going to share with you what the heck is a smoky eye. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again. So a smoky eye, let's define it. So here's what I love about the smoky eye. It works on everybody. You can do the most natural look with it, the most extremely dramatic, anywhere in between. And I'm going to share with you what that means as I show you these images and then work with a live model. And it's one of those looks that doesn't break down, doesn't mess up during the day. It's not working in creases and contouring and trying to get everything right. It's kind of a... What I like about the look is it sort of sucks energy into your eye. It really pulls people into you depending on the intensity of the look. And, you know, that's kind of cool. So what the heck is a smoky eye? Pretty much, smoky, just so you know, it's a technique. It's not a color. Yes, there are smoky colors out there, of course, the charcoals, the grays. And you can use those with a smoky eye, but that's not what a smoky eye is. Think of your eye line as sort of the epicenter of an earthquake, okay? And once the earthquake happens, it ripples outward, and the ripple softens as it goes outward in every direction. Well, that's what you're doing with the intensity of the eye color. It's rippling outward, so it's darkest right at the eye line, and then it extends away from dark to light. It's a gradient. And any combination of colors works as long as the first color is the darkest color, the highest intensity color, and all this, for my money, all the second and third colors do is help fade away that first color. It creates that going from, say, 10 to 0 when it gets up to the eyebrow. So remember, as we are working today and sharing, you can talk to us with live chat. So if you have anything you want to share while we're going, please let me know so that I can answer your questions as we go along. So if that's what a smoky eye is, what isn't a smoky eye? Well, I'll tell you what isn't a smoky eye. For example, this is the eye that or something like this. This is the eye that a lot of people think is a smoky eye. And they're not wrong, because the shadow is a smoky shade and it's a gradient and it's really pretty. But in truth, I like to call this look a high contour eye. It's taking that crease color and letting it wash up evenly, rounding on the brow bone perfectly. This makeup is awesome. I didn't do it, but you know, I just want to say the makeup's awesome, but it's not a smoky eye. And the reason it's not is because on the ball of the eye, you see it's really light. It's designed to open the eye up, and so the contrast is between the center of the ball of the eye, that's that area right above the iris, and then the outer corner that pulls away with the darkness, and then that crease color that's getting sort of blended up onto the bone higher, so we call it a high contour, lifts up the outer corner of the eye, but in a real smooth, even, beautiful, perfect way. So that's a high contour eye. So when when I show the high contour eye, that's what I'll be showing you. So let's look at all the different manifestations of a smoky eye. So this is a smoky eye. It's a natural smoky eye. And what you'll notice is that the first color, it's on the ball of the eye. It's really close to the model's skin tone and hair color. Not much, and she's blonde. It's very fair and light. And the second and third color just disappear into her skin tone. So if her eyes were open, they would look very pretty. They would draw us to her. Gorgeous. If someone wants like a soft wedding makeup, but still wants to look different, striking, but not in a dramatic way, this technique is really, really pretty. And then once you start increasing the intensity a little bit, it turns out to be slightly more of what I call a balanced smoky eye. Now what you should notice here is that the color that's on the ball of her eye and wrapping up onto her crease, it's almost the same amount of darkness as the iris of her eye, the green part of her eye. So creating that balance between the intensity of the first shadow that you use and the iris of the eye, creating that balance, it makes the eye just look finished. It's not too strong, it's not too weak, it's just right. So this can often read also as natural depending on who's looking at you. Because for some people they go, oh, that's a pretty dramatic eye. But in truth, the makeup doesn't overpower her face. I was explaining to our model, who you're going to meet in just a minute, that when you do a smoky eye, the first color is your makeup, the color that goes on the ball of the eye, the round part of the eye. And I'm going to rediscuss what is the anatomy of the eye. I know we talked about it last week, but it's really good to be reminded, because especially with the smoky eye, when you start going into higher intensity looks, if you don't get that color in the right spot, the makeup's going to look really bad. So here's a dramatic smoky eye. Now you'll notice that she's really not wearing much more makeup than the balanced smoky eye. But the intensity is so much different only because the first color she chooses is a really high contrast color, very dark. So you see her eye color looks much lighter in the image rather than the eye color of this model. That eye color, it just kind of blends with the makeup, whereas here it really is much lighter, and that darkness that's on the ball of the eye totally grabs our attention. We are sucked into that first. We have no choice but to see it. But really, she's not wearing that much more makeup, as I'm looking at these two pictures side by side, at all. It's just being brave and using those slightly higher intensity colors, which can be frightening, but I'll tell you, with a smoky eye, it's awesome. So it's what you want to do. One of the looks that I love is the colorful smoky eye. Now this is super pretty. So look at this model here. Obviously the makeup, you could say it looks natural, but because the color that she has on isn't a human color, it's kind of like it's like a pinky red, maybe a little bit of gold in it, but it's darkest on the lid, and that color slowly fades away from her eye, and then it becomes a gradient. And by the time we get to the brow bone, right under that brow bone, you'll see that now we're back to a skin tone, or slightly lighter than the skin tone for contrast. On today's model, I did a somewhat more neutral version of this look on one side before I demonstrate how to do the smoky eye on the other side. And you'll be able to see what I mean by using color as for a smoky eye rather than just a dark eye, high intensity, because it's not always that. There's a couple other effects with the smoky eye that I like. I like to refer to this eye here as a clean smoky eye. Now you can see that, her eyes are going on. She's got great smoke happening. It goes from darkest from the eye line, and it just gradients beautifully up to her eyebrow. But it's the under eye line that I want to point out here. All she has on the bottom eye line is just that tight line, the wet line, really thin black line, so it's sharp and crisp. I like to call that a clean, smoky eye. And for people who don't want their smoky eye to just seem overwhelming on their face, but they still want the intensity, this is a really good technique to use. Just keep that bottom eye line nice and clean. However, you could also go in the other direction and do what I call is a dirty smoky eye. So what you can see here is the same color that's being used on the ball of the eye above the eye is also being wrapped around underneath the eye. It's kind of like a mini smoke on the bottom side of the eye. And so what that does is it just makes the eye look bigger, more dramatic, and obviously that eye gets, in my opinion, I think more attention than this eye, even though they're both beautiful makeups. This eye just, grabs us more because it's kind of more mysterious, more exotic, and so we're kind of curious about it, and that's what we want to be, curious about, especially if you're out to just have fun and dance and have a good time. The last eye I want to talk about, or really just the placement of the makeup, is what I call perfect shadow placement. Now, this picture I'm showing you here is a really good example of perfect shadow placement. So once again, you can see that the wet line is super crisp top and bottom, and then the dark color is just on the ball of the eye, and then it starts to fade up into the crease of the eye, and then as we start to wrap up above the brow bone a little bit, it fades like almost immediately. It just like dissolves into this slightly lighter than her skin tone color. It's a really uniform look that just translates over and over and over again, depending on what colors you choose to use. And so we have to be super excited because today we have an awesome model that she drove all the way from where?
Rescue.
Rescue?
Yes.
Well, hush my mouth. All the way from Rescue. Everybody say hi to Miranda. Yay! So I'm soupy happy. I think I'm going to have soup for dinner. I'm super happy to have Miranda here because she contacted me early on and said, if you need a model for the show, I'd love to be on. I'm like, heck yeah. And I said, well, what's your makeup challenge? And she goes, well, I have, as you can see, light hair, light skin, lighter eyes, and I feel like when I want to play my makeup up, that I just look silly. I overdo it. The makeup kind of just slaughters my face. Am I characterizing that?
Yeah.
Anywhere near the right point?
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to take her today past her comfort zone, mostly to prove a point. And the point really is this: as long as you get the eyeshadow in exactly the right spot, the makeup's not going to look bad. It's going to look awesome. But the minute these dark colors aren't in the right place, you're in trouble. So that's why we're going to talk about the anatomy of the eye and how to deliver these colors to the eyelid. And so in that way, it'll give you more confidence in how you do your own makeup. So as you can see with Miranda here, so turn your head towards me and lean in towards the camera. Lift your chin up just a touch. Good. And come back just a touch. So just kind of look right into there. Turn your head a little bit more away from me. That's it. And look here. Good. So you see on that one eye, we've already done what I like to call the colorful smoky eye. And the color we use are like blue-gray colors. And so just look down a little bit. So you can see the gradient. It's very subtle, very soft. It starts off with a more kind of a matte, thundery kind of cloud color. Then in her crease is more of it's called platinum. It's a platinum shade. Then up on the brow bone, I actually use satin white color, white satin. I like the last color to be lighter than the brow bone. I mean, not ridiculously so, but you're trying to create contrast between what's on the ball of the eye and what's up onto the crease of the eye when you're doing this makeup. So on the other side of the eye, so go ahead and turn forward. So on the other side of the eye, I'm going to demonstrate just a few techniques and how to really master this. So first of all, let's talk about the anatomy of the eye. So look down for me, please. We talked about this last week, but I'm telling you, once you grasp this, you can do any eye makeup you want. Until you do, you're always going to wonder what went wrong. So I hope this helps. And with eyeshadow, I like to think there's three parts to the eye. The ball. And what I mean by the ball is every place I touch, underneath my brush is eyeball. Okay? Soft, soft, soft. And then way above it, up here, is called bone. So any place I push and it's hard, not soft, it's bone. But then there's that little magic spot. And I'm just using this wide kind of flat brush to demonstrate. This little spot here, that's the crease where there's bone above and soft below. And the crease is really narrow. It's super duper thin. It's not a big old thing. And when you start doing your contouring with your eye makeup, you really want to make sure you hit that crease. And don't try to wrap up on the bone too soon, or else the makeup is just not in the right spot. So here's the thing to trip on. Here's the ball of the eye. I take my little brush, I'm under the bone, and if I come out here, what does it feel like I'm hitting right there, Miranda?
You're half on bone and half on crease.
Half on bone, half on crease. Right? So I'm in the crease there, but then there's bone. And most of us think that this is the shape of our eye, that it has this kind of soft almond elliptical shape, but that's not the shape of the eye socket. And that's what you want to pay attention to when you're applying your makeup. But if I'm going to take this brush and get it under the crease, look, oh my God, look how far I have to go in. See where I am? Now where am I?
You're all crease.
I'm all creased all the time. I'm right in the middle of her crease there. So the brush is going straight up and down. So what that means is her eye socket is actually a perfect half circle. But when we look at anybody, nobody's eye looks like a perfect half circle. And that's because we're three-dimensional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our bones bend a lot. And you know, our skull curves. And luckily our skin wraps to it tight. And by the skin wrapping to sort of compensate for this curvingness, it gives us the illusion that the eye is more almond shaped, but it isn't. So if you keep that in mind, doing your eye makeup is going to be a lot easier, knowing those points, and then knowing how to deliver the colors, the right brush, blah, blah, blah. But first of all, know where you're going to put the color or you're sunk. So we're going to do two things. I'm going to start by doing a natural eye on Miranda, just to show you placement. And then I'm going to wail. I'm going to go for a dark smoky eye, a dramatic smoky eye. I'm going to go for a clean smoky eye, not a lot of stuff underneath her eye. And so you can sort of see the progression of how smoke works. So the first thing you want to make sure that you have in your repertoire is a deposit brush, and the deposit brush is kind of flat and soft and wide. It's like a paddle or something like that. So I'm going to start with a color that's just a little bit darker than her hair color. It's very neutral. Turn towards me and lean it in just a little bit. And I'm going just to press. So you notice that I'm only going on the ball of the eye, and with my brush I can really feel where her crease is, so I don't go above it. So why deposit is so cool? Open for me. Why depositing is so cool is you can't mess up. And what I mean by that is color only goes where you press the brush. Close again. So it just goes there. If you take your brush and you go, I'm going to put the shadow on like this, and you start brushing it, what happens is invariably shadow flicks, it gets past where you want it to go. And if you're using super dark colors, you're kind of sunk. You have to really take time to clean it up. So you can see this is a really soft, natural color. So this is the victory step. Include this when you do your smoky eyes, and you'll always get it right. So this is a crease brush. It's shaped just to fit into the crease of her eye. It's tapered on both sides. So close for me. Now there's nothing on my brush. All I'm going to do, I want to do this so to make sure you can see it. Yeah, I'm going to keep my hand down a little bit. It's better if you're bringing the brush straight in, but you can't see while I do that. So I'm going to angle the brush down a little bit. And all I'm doing is just softening the border of that eyeshadow application. You see that? I'm relaxing it. Don't try to blend it. Don't try to make it any bigger. Just try to relax it. That pigment is sitting there, and it's in a tight, by pressing, by depositing the first color on, you get sort of this hard border, so you want to soften it. Now with a natural color, open for me. So with a natural color like this, it blends out pretty easy. It's not too hard to go to the second and third color. But for a more dramatic first color, that step really matters. So in the crease, I'm going to use, I'll just show you on my fingers the colors I'm using right now. So I'm using these 3 shades. This is what's on the ball of her eye. I'm about to put this color in her crease. Now you can see how much significantly lighter that second color is. Don't try to go just kind of twice, half as light as the first color. Really go a lot lighter. Otherwise, when you're doing the makeup, it ends up looking like mud if that second color isn't a lot lighter than the first color. Okay, and then the third color, I want it to be a little bit lighter than her skin tone to really pop the brow area. So now with the second color, I'm going to do exactly what I just did, but now I have product on my brush. And again, I'm angling my brush down a little bit so that you can see this on camera. When you're doing this home, please hold the brush perpendicular to your eye. Come like this, bang, come straight in, so just the tip is in the crease. And what's the pressure feel like, Miranda?
Very light.
Very light. You're often the tendency I see with a lot of people is they want to spread the product, so they want to blend it, and they're actually kind of spreading it. That's not good. You want to sort of relax and let the color sort of organically rise up on the eye. Then the last color I'm going to use is the one I showed you. I think it's called French Vanilla. And I'm using what's called a bullet brush. It's just a little bit smaller, and it's awesome because I can just snug it right in under the eyebrow first, then have it come down and meet those other 2 colors. So I can take this brush, you can see that color going right where I want it. And because this is a much lighter color, you also don't want it raining down onto the darker color. So by depositing, you sort of avoid that mishap of that light color going down onto the ball of your eye and starting to ash it up. Because if you have especially have a darker shade there. Now I'm just using the tip of this brush, and I'm blurring where the second and the third color meet. Now these 2 colors are so close to each other, blends really quickly. So go ahead and open. Good. And this turn slowly your head left to right, just so people can compare the two eyes. So you see the other eye has a little bit more intensity. It grabs our attention a little bit more because it's a little bit deeper in tone. And then the side we just did. Come on back. The other side is really natural looking, but that's a smoky eye, meaning we used the smoky eye technique. All right. So now we're going to wail on her eye. We're going to give her like a super awesome, gorgeous dark eye. So Miranda has really pretty green eyes. Are your eyes green?
They are.
They are, good. So I'm not colorblind yet. She has super pretty green eyes. So I'm going to use a super dark green first shadow that's also super shimmery. Aren't you excited?
I am.
Because she's like, I know, dark colors, they're going to kill me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to share with you something that I like to do to give more saturation to the first color. And this is a little bit tricky, but it's not that hard. So close your eye for me. I've been doing all this without my glasses so far. Today's a good day. All right, so what I'm going to do, turn it a little bit this way, I'm going to take an eyeliner pencil. Now, the eyeliner pencil I'm using is, this is the Makeup Gourmet one, but I don't even sell this. You could use the drugstore one, 99 cent eyeliner. The greasier, the more this thing wants to run on you, the better. Because what we're going to do is we're going to melt it onto her eyelid, and you'll see what I mean in a second. We're not going to use any flames, just going to use the heat of my finger. So you can see that I've created this very soft, rounded shape with eyeliner. And now I'm going to take the pad of my finger, so that's my middle finger, and I just use this because it's the biggest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up the eyeliner. So how much pressure am I using right now?
None.
I'm using none. Uh-oh.
Well, very little.
Very little. And so you can see the pencil starts to just it almost like looks like it's evaporating up onto the eye. It's just kind of that creaminess is floating up onto the lid. Isn't that pretty? And even with that, that's a great way to create that soft kind of demi smoke to the eye. If you just want to stop there, that's a new word, demi smoke for me. That looks so pretty. So go ahead and open. So now she's just got that little bit of intensity just on the ball of her eye. Look down just a little bit so everybody can see that, and turn towards me. I just want to see what it looks like because I'm excited. Okay, it's really super pretty. I could use more if I wanted to make it super dark, depending on how intense you want. Oh, excellent. You can look down how you were just looking. Yeah, beautiful. You can really make this pretty dark if you want. Okay, so now we're going to have some fun. So let me show you the 3 colors I'm going to be using today. Well, I really have only picked out the first color. I'm going to use the same second and third color. I'm just going to change the first color, okay? So that's my deep smoky green. Super dark, way darker than the iris of her eye. And I'm going to just put this over the top of that taupe color that I used, and just to show you how to use a higher intensity color. And the funny thing is it's the exact same way as we use the lower intensity color. Hold on, I got makeup all over me. All right, close your eyes for me. So I put the dark shadow on my brush, and when I get shadow, what I do is I press it down into the eyeshadow like this. I don't swirl. Just get over here to the camera, Chris. Press like this, and then just give it one quick waha, give it a whack to get off the excess. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to press this higher intensity color onto the ball of her eye. And the only thing I have to do to make sure this is done right is that I just keep it on the ball of her eye. Now, the operative word here is ball. Miranda, what is the shape of a ball?
Circular.
It's circular. It's not almondular. Close, please. And so as long as we maintain a circular application of this color, it's perfect. The image I like to think of is a setting sun on the horizon. It's halfway down, that perfect rounded shape. And you'll say to yourself, that is not the shape of my eye, but it is. Turn towards me a little bit and close. So every time I press, it gets a little bit darker. So what's cool about the deposit technique is you control not only the placement, but the intensity of the color, the opacity. Open for me. Open. And take a look up here in the lens. Lift your chin as you look up there. More. Really lift your chin up. Yeah, look at that. You see how oh, perfect, just like that. See how that color is just kind of peeking out? A much darker color, but how is this making you feel right now when you see it?
I actually like it.
Yeah, because it's in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, the thing about a dark smoky eye for most people is when you put it on, it's an emotional look. So when you see it, you kind of you feel different when you wear it because it gives you a different energy than not that this isn't pretty, but pretty makeup is pretty, and smoky eye is a little bit more like visceral. It hits me on a more, visceral level. So I'm going to do just a little bit more since you like it already. Congratulations, you've just graduated into darker shades on your eye and without any qualms. Now usually, I've already done Miranda's foundation and everything, but usually you always want to do the eye makeup first because, we're getting spill down here, and that's why you just do the eyes first, but we didn't today because we're just doing this for demonstration purposes. So now I'm going to do the exact same step as I did before. There is nothing on my brush. Nothing on my brush. Close for me, turn towards me a little bit. Now this is going to take a little bit longer because this is such a higher intensity shadow. Well, actually, because there's those other shadows underneath it, blending pretty quickly. How cool are we? Don't try to make it go farther. Just try to keep it right in the crease, just like that. Open for us. And so what happens is the smoke starts to happen automatically because that darker shade is starting to move up the eye a little bit. Wow, that's really good. So I'm going to push the envelope just a touch. So I'm putting that same dark green color on my brush, And then I mixed a little bit of my, close for me, my matte black eyeshadow. So I just wanted to give this color just a little bit more intensity. Because I think this is really good on you. Just like that. Good, good. Open. Yeah, super pretty. I'm going to blend this one more time. So as you can see, even though the look is, and turn towards me, please. And as you can see, even though the look is high intensity, it's super methodical. Don't try to make it something it isn't. Just follow the simple steps, and you just can't mess up, because especially when working with these high contrast colors, that looks great. And now the second and third color, I'm going to do the exact same thing I already did. So I'm going to take that second color, it's called Nude Beach, and I'm just going to, so what this does is this really softens and really smokes out that dark shade. So as I work this in the bone, and then as I'm working on the bone, now I start to work up onto the underside of the brow bone, like this. So that color starts to lift up a little bit. So it's just smoking up higher and higher like that. Open, please. And you can see how the color is just filling, it's voluminizing her eye, but you see how everything is staying within the world of her eye. It's not going outside of it, following those lines from the nose and the 2 points of the 2 corners of the eye. So far I haven't messed up, Miranda. What do you think?
I like it.
Good job. Okay, thank you. So I think I'm going to put white satin. Again, that's the color she has here on her brow bone. For a higher contrast, instead of the neutral matte French vanilla matte I use, let's go with something that's even lighter, so the contrast between this color and this color is really high. And then once I press this onto the eye, I'm just going to take the tip of my brush. You can see that, and I'm really just using the tip of my bullet brush. And it's super soft, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not about, you're not forcing or rubbing or spreading the shadow, you're just relaxing it. Just that soft, and let the shape of the brush do the work. Okay, let's see how good she looks. Oh my, look straight ahead. So the 2 different eyes, they look really, really good. So with this look, what I want to do is I want to give her a stronger wet line. What's wrong?
It looks good.
It looks
like
good?
It.
It 2 different eyes. I know, you're going to walk out of here
I look kind of funky.
with a limp, basically. So how to get that wet line to work? First of all, you can only use waterproof. Don't use liquid liner, ever. I'm using gel eyeliner, which is waterproof, Makeup Gourmet gel eyeliner, or you can use a waterproof pencil. Okay, but here's what you want to do. So look up to the ceiling for me and turn just a little bit this way. Bring your chin down, but look up. Good. Push in, and on the little pinky part, just above the hair. Don't go between the hairs at all. Go just above the hairs. Get a layer of your liner on. Now squeeze your eye super tight and open. So what she just did was anything that was going to come off came off because this is wet. And then you immediately apply one more layer. But now what's going on, now the skin has been dried because the product lifted off and it dried it. Close again, tight and open. And so now that it's not going to go anywhere. So put it on, squeeze tight, and immediately put it on one more time, and you get that super awesome look. So what you can't, if you want, you can also start applying some eyeliner on top if you want to give it a higher intensity look. Now, you don't have to be purists as far as how the smoky eye goes. I mean, do your makeup however you want, but you know, it's good to know what a smoky eye is and then how to veer from it if you want. So close your eye for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gel eyeliner and I'm using a fine line brush and I'm just going to apply a slightly thicker line on top of, above her lashes. So this way we can get that little bit of that sweeping definition, nice pretty little eye line coming up there. Turn this way a little bit. So you see that nice little kick, and open for me. And so that just gives us a little bit more kick and definition to her eye. Now if I was going to go to a smoky eye, I might grab that green shadow and look up please, and a dirty smoky eye, and I would start wrapping that green shadow up underneath the eye and connecting it to the corner, but we're not going to do that. So this is what I call a clean smoky eye, and let's look straight ahead. And just kind of look right about here, like right about down, so your eyes are open. So there's a huge contrast, as you can see, between the intensity of the two eyes, but the placement of the shadows are identical. And so the impact, and then look back on that, but then the impact of it is, pretty remarkable. And the fact that, nothing seems out of place. Then the last thing I asked Miranda to remind me in case I forgot is, of course, mascara. Now, there isn't, well, you say there isn't such a thing as a smoky mascara technique, but really there is such a thing as smoky lashes, meaning false lashes, big, feathery, kind of dusty lashes. You can go, if you're going big with the smoke, you can go really big with the lashes, and it just kind of, it adds to the smokiness of the eye makeup. It doesn't like stand in front of it. But the thing I always like to do when I'm doing mascara is to Bambi the lash. And so what that means is, and just look down for me, what that means is rather than brushing the lashes up, curling and brushing them up, I like to spread them wide. So on these outer lashes, I'd say there's about 12 there. I'm flicking them from the base outward, and now the mascara is drying, so it's holding those lashes. Now the lashes are coming outside her eye. And so in the middle of her eye, look down please, I'm going to take my wand and I'm going to wiggle right at the base and then pull up to capture that. And then the interior lashes, I'm going to flick towards her nose. Just like that. Open please. And so you get that nice lash spread. But if I wasn't doing false lashes, I want her lashes thicker. So here's what I do. Look down, please. In the middle, I'm going to lay my wand right at the bed of her lash, and I'm rolling my lash. You see my brush. Do you see that? So I'm getting that mascara really thick on her lashes, but by spinning it, I kind of clean it off as I go. So I'm taking it to her eye, and then I'm spinning as I lift it off. That looks really good. And keep looking up, and then you can tickle the bottom lashes with the mascara wand. Just the tip, the same tip I use to bring the lashes out on the bottom, just to give a little definition on the bottom. I'm not always crazy about bottom mascara. I often find it distracting, but with a gorgeous smoky eye like this, it doesn't matter. This is the true definition of the first color is her makeup. It's just that solid color on the ball of the eye, which is circular, as we learned, and then it blending away. What else do you want to know? Anything? Huh?
I love it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Wow, because I was pretty sure she was going to say, well, yeah, Chris, thanks. Got any eye makeup remover? Because I went pretty dark. But I love it too. It's right. So you imagine you have this, right? And then, I mean, this is a great look with with nice jeans and boots and a little top or a cocktail dress.
That's better.
The only what's that?
That's better.
Yeah, I mean both work though. The only thing I don't think the smoky eye works with is kind of like casual. You're kind of casual cotton top, and you're kind of more funk around clothes. It doesn't fit. But a little bit of style one way or the other really makes a difference. Well, everybody, I think we should all say thank you, Miranda, for being on the show. So, yay!
Thank you.
See how happy? So what I wanted to let you know about are the brushes that I used today. I really only used 3, and that's all you really need to do this look. The deposit brush, which is that brush, it says deposit, so you see it, and that's the one that I use to put the color on the ball of the eye. Then the eye crease brush, that's the brush I use to actually blend the first ball of the eye color, then also apply the second color. And the bullet brush is the one that's used to deposit that really light color just under the brow bone and beyond. And so that is today's featured product. So we have a couple of questions. Are these colors already in palettes, or can I customize a palette? So Terry Price of Folsom wants to know, can she get all these colors by herself, or can she customize? Well, it's pretty cool. I do my shadows, if you buy them in the little single compact, they're $15 each. But you can create your own customized quintet 5 shadows, and they are I think they're $48, right? So pretty good savings because if you buy them individually, they're $75. So you can create those, um, and oh, good. And boy, they sure like you tonight. So I hope that helps. And it's one of my value bundles, which means that if I'm ever doing like a special, like I'm going to show you my cart discount code for this week, it doesn't apply to that particular value bundle, is what I call it, because it's already discounted, more than 20%. But anyway, everything else will be discounted. So Elizabeth Jenkins, how are you? She loves the tip about squeezing eyes shut immediately after applying the gel eyeliner, then applying a second coat. Yes, you're going to love this. Every time you do it, I'm telling you, I don't know if, as a makeup artist, you just never know, like, how do I learn any of this stuff? Where does all this stuff come from? But, seriously, just a lot of this is just stupid trial and error and kind of go, well, what makes sense? So I'm really glad that tip, worked out for you. I'm going to give you guys, the featured product today is the deposit brush. And so one of you lucky live chatters today are going to win the deposit brush. That's the first brush I used to apply the shades onto the ball of the eye of Miranda today. And if you're wondering what the cart discount code is for today, it's a MugLive19, MugLive19. And that's good until our next episode, which is going to be in 2 weeks, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. So you can fill the cart up with everything you want and get 20% off everything, even services, so on and so forth. Again, like I said, the only thing that it doesn't apply to are sell items or my value bundles. Oh no, Eloise Lee says she can't see the video. Let me check. Sorry, Eloise. You know what? This is going to be recorded because from where I'm sitting, I can see it. But so thank you for pointing that out. I see that it's on, so there's going to be a recording of this. Like when it's already right when we finish, it's available on YouTube. But I like to edit out the first 2 hours of my slideshow pre-show, so you don't have to kind of sit through that or kind of find your way to the beginning of the episode. But if you do want to watch it tonight, just kind of skip ahead a couple hours, and then you'll get to the show. Thanks, Eloise, for checking in. Anyway, everyone, did you get that? MugLive19. All right, that's the coupon code. Put it in the cart, and you are rocking and rolling. And when you put things in the cart, it's good for everything. Like I said, I have services, but not for the value bundles. I have skincare for women and men. I have skin, everything for the skin, foundation, and supplies for makeup artists, eye makeup, brushes, tons of stuff for lips and cheeks, tons of stuff for you to choose from. So we're a full brand. I really appreciate Miranda reaching out to me and saying, here's my deal, dude. I'm fair. I got blonde hair, light eyes. My makeup just hits me like the makeup stick. And I'm glad that today she felt a little more comfortable learning about, well, how can I solve that issue? Maybe she just doesn't like it, but maybe it's just technique. So if you have a episode topic that you want to share with us, by all means, share it with us, because I want to help anybody who's interested in learning more about, their particular makeup challenges. And that said, if you want to take it, one step farther and you actually want to be a model on the show, heck, why not? You get free makeup too. So that should just give you enough of a, sort of impetus to, or initiative to, come up with something that you want to know about makeup and be on the show, because for me, I like the challenge, and I really don't turn any challenges away, because I would just be not a worthy makeup artist if I did. So all the techniques that I have shared with you today are all in my book, my book, Face with a Heart, Mastering Authentic Beauty Makeup, except for the smoky eye, because I don't show that. Actually, I show really the structure of the eye, and lots of different techniques that build on themselves, from the classic contour, the high contour, the modern contour, the reverse contour, all these stupid crazy contours. The smoky eye is just a different beast altogether. But I am gonna, there's a little spoiler alert, I am working on my third book, and it might just have some techniques for smoky eye in it. So I'm not saying it's gonna be ready tomorrow, because it ain't, but it's worth, looking into, because if you're enjoying what what you're seeing now, you can get much more great information. So all the past episodes of Makeup Gourmet Live are on the Makeup Gourmet YouTube channel. So Eloise, you can watch all my old episodes, and you can also watch this episode. And so we hope that you do, because I hate for you to miss what we do. So next time, I'm doing a solstice special, which is in 2 weeks. The solstice is, and it's trippy how the sun's going to wrap around the moon as it passes in front of it. And I think about light and the way light bends on three-dimensional objects. And contouring is such a hot topic. So my final episode of the first season of Makeup Gourmet Live, that'll be our 10th episode, will be on contouring. We'll take a couple weeks off after that, and then come back in the fall. We're really going to, give you so much great information for season-appropriate makeup, special holiday party makeup. Oh, it just doesn't stop, does it? Because that's what we do here. We just don't stop. So once again, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Makeup Gourmet Live, because we appreciate having you out there. I just dropped my speaker, so I don't think I'm going to play the exit music from that, am I? So without further ado, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and see you next time on Makeup Gourmet. Yay!